Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a volunteer with the Alabama Coastal Foundation, and I'm here today to talk to you about becoming a Bay Buddy. But first, let me introduce you to some of my friends. Hannah, the blue heron, Gary, the gopher tortoise, Bella the dolphin, Speck the spotted sea trout, and Jeffrey the oyster. Today we're going to talk about some of the animals here on the Alabama Gulf Coast, turtles and tortoises. Today we're also going to learn about how we, as Bay Buddies, can help keep our coastal environment clean and safe so that we can also help protect turtles and tortoises that live here on the Alabama coast. In order to be a Bay Buddy, you need to learn about the Alabama Coastal Foundation's special mission. That mission is to improve and protect Alabama's coastal environment. We do that through cooperation, education, and participation. Our goal is to teach people about the Alabama coastal environment so we can work together to take care of it. But what is an environment, and how do we protect it? An environment is everything surrounding us, and that includes the plants, animals, and the habitats that they live in. You already know about the difference between indoor environments and outdoor environments. The classroom here on the left is an example of an indoor environment. In the picture on the right, you can see a tree next to the water. This is an outdoor environment. Do you know what a coastal environment is? A coastal environment is a kind of outdoor environment. It includes the plants, animals, and the habitat they live in. Coastal means land near a body of water. So everything in and around the body of water, on the land and in the water, is part of that coastal environment. These pictures here are examples of coastal environments. What do you see? Do you see the blue sky? Do you see the trees? Do you see the swamp? Do you see the picture with the bird standing in the reeds? These are all things that are part of our coastal environment. Even the people, we are also part of the coastal environment. In order to protect our coastal environment, you need to understand the difference between a healthy environment and an unhealthy environment. Look at the pictures. These pictures are examples of first, a healthy environment on the left, and on the right, an unhealthy environment. Look at the picture on the right with the duck. Do you see what's around the duck? That's right, it's trash. There's bottles and cups and wrappers. This is dirty and unhealthy. Do you see the difference from the picture on the left, where everything is green and there's no trash, and the trees are healthy and breathing? This is a healthy environment. In order to understand how we can keep our coastal environment healthy, we need to understand the water cycle. In this water cycle, water can take 3 different forms. The first form we call liquid, like the water that you drink, or the water in Mobile Bay, or the water in rivers, or the Gulf of Mexico. Do you see the body of water in the picture with the fish swimming in it? Well, when the sun beats down on it and the top of the water starts to heat up, it turns the water at the surface into a vapor, which rises into the sky. This is called evaporation. This process of evaporation gives us the second form of water. We call it vapor. But there are 2 ways we can get water vapor: through evaporation and transpiration. Transpiration is the process by which plants and trees lose water into the atmosphere through their leaves. When the water vapor rises high into the sky, it cools down and it turns back into a liquid. It turns into clouds that you see here. This process is called condensation. Clouds are blown by the wind in the sky. And this is a process called transportation. Water in the form of clouds can travel a very long way. When the droplets of water that make the clouds become too big, they fall. We know them as rain, snow, sleet, hail. This process is called precipitation. In this picture here, when the water fell, it froze and became snow because the temperature in the mountains was so cold. When water freezes, it converts into its third form, a solid, which we call ice. When the sun heats that ice, it melts, and it becomes what we call runoff. This runoff can seep into the ground or flow into streams and rivers. If the water soaks into the ground, it can be taken up by plants and trees. If the water becomes surface runoff, it will eventually flow from the streams to the rivers and back into larger bodies of water. And then the cycle starts all over again through the process of evaporation and transpiration. It's very important that you understand that in this water cycle, the same water is used over and over again for thousands of years. In order to keep our environment clean and safe, we need to understand what a watershed is. This is a picture of a watershed. All the area surrounded by the yellow dotted line leads down to the large area of water at the bottom of the picture. When rain falls anywhere in this area, it eventually all drains to the same body of water. It might flow through storm drains or through creeks and streams, or it might be washed directly into the large body of water. Now that you understand how a watershed works, take a look at these two pictures. These are examples of unhealthy environments. How do you think this happens? Look at these pictures. Think about where water goes when it rains. Some of the rain that falls soaks into the ground and is soaked up by plants. Sometimes it falls on places where it can't soak in, like streets and sidewalks, so it flows into drains or waterways. This water is called storm water runoff. When there is a lot of rain in a short period of time, it may not be able to drain quickly enough, causing flooding. You can see in these pictures that sometimes trash gets into the drains and waterways. These pictures can help us to understand how our environment becomes unhealthy. When stormwater carries trash throughout our watershed, it is no longer a safe and clean environment for us or for the animals that live here. So, if we see trash in Mobile Bay, where could it have come from? Here's a picture of how water drains in our state. Rain that falls all over the state and parts of Mississippi and Georgia flow into creeks and streams or into storm drains. It eventually drains into Mobile Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. The water can carry with it trash and other types of pollution. Alabama has thousands of miles of streams and rivers. These rivers and streams and their coastlines are home to many different types of plants and animals. In Alabama, we have more different types of living plants and animals living in the water than any other state in the United States. For example, here in Alabama, we have more different kinds of freshwater turtles than any other state. One of those animals is Alabama's state reptile, the Alabama red-bellied turtle, sometimes called a pond or marsh turtle. These turtles eat only plants, mostly underwater plants. The adult turtles can grow to be about a foot long. These turtles and other turtles found in Alabama are endangered. Endangered means that there are not many of them left. One reason they are endangered is because people are not taking care of the places where the turtles build their nests. To protect them, we need to make sure that the environment they live in is healthy. The red-bellied turtle is found mostly in the Mobile-Tensaw Delta. That's the area shown here on this map. They have also been seen in other areas of South Alabama, like Mobile Bay, Fowl River, Dog River, and waters around Daphne. There are not many of these turtles left, partly because raccoons and alligators eat them. But the biggest problem is people. When the environment is not healthy, turtles may not be able to find safe places to make their nests and lay their eggs. Turtles can also get caught in fish nets, crab pots, or injured by trash left on the ground. Alabama is also home to different types of tortoises. Do you know what the difference between a turtle and a tortoise is? In the picture, there's a tortoise and a turtle. Can you tell which one's which? Let's find out more about turtles and tortoises. Let's talk about some tortoise facts. First, we know that tortoises are land-dwelling, which means they live on land, not in the water. So that also means they're not very good swimmers. We also know that they have high domed shells. They have stubby feet with sharp claws for digging. They use their claws for digging burrows. Burrows are holes in the ground. These burrows protect them from other animals that might harm them. They also provide shelter from the sun and weather. We also know they're plant eaters. They're also reptiles. Do you know what a reptile is? So reptiles are animals that have dry and sometimes scaly skin. They breathe using lungs, and they lay eggs on land. Let's look at some of the things that we know about turtles. We know that they can live either near fresh water or they can live in the sea. Many of them eat plants, some insects and small fish. Their bodies are different than tortoises. They're a bit flatter. This makes it easier for them to glide through the water. And their legs are different than tortoises too. They have either webbed feet or long flippers. This is good for swimming. Turtles are excellent swimmers. But just like tortoises, they are reptiles, and they lay eggs on land. Based on the information we just learned, can you tell which one of these animals is a turtle and which one is a tortoise? Let's look at the animal in the bottom picture first. This animal has legs with claws on him. He has a high shell, and look behind him. There's a hole in the ground. Maybe that's where he lives. He's on land. Is this a turtle or a tortoise? It's a tortoise. Now let's look at the animal in the top picture. This animal has a flatter shell. And its legs, well, they're flippers. And it's in the water. This animal is a turtle. Let's learn a little bit more about turtles. These are sea turtles. Several types of sea turtles make their nests along the coast of Alabama, including the green turtle, the Kemp's Ridley turtle, and the most common, the loggerhead turtle. There are not many of these turtles around, so they need to be protected. Look at the turtle in the bottom picture. This is the Kemp's Ridley turtle. It is the most endangered, and it can only be found along the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. Did you know that sea turtles first appeared 200 million years ago? Sea turtles live in the water, but they come to shore to build their nests. The female sea turtles use their back flippers to dig out a nest in the ground. Then they lay their eggs and return to the water. Nesting season is from May 1st through October 31st. One female turtle might lay over 100 eggs, but only a few will survive to become adults. The eggs are about the size of a ping pong ball. After hatching, the baby turtles dig their way out of the nest and move toward the water at night. They use moonlight and starlight to guide them to the water. Do you remember? Earlier I told you that I would like for each of you to become Bay Buddies. As Bay Buddies, you would help Gary the gopher tortoise and his friends by keeping the places where they live safe and clean. Reducing the amount of trash and making sure trash is put in the correct place are both important ways to keep our environment healthy. But the Alabama Coastal Foundation works with people in our community to find other ways to protect the environment. Through a program called Share the Beach, the Alabama Coastal Foundation teaches people in our area how to keep the beaches safe for sea turtles. Here are some ways we can help protect sea turtles. First, avoid using flashlights or flash photography on the beach at night, and turn off outside patio lights and shield indoor lights from shining onto the beach at night. This is important because these types of artificial light can confuse the baby sea turtles, causing them to move away from the water instead of going towards it. It is very important not to disturb sea turtle nests. Volunteers with Share the Beach help protect the nests. From May through October, they look for nests and put a protective fence around them. They watch the nests to make sure that the eggs are not disturbed. When it is about time for the eggs to hatch, they watch the nest closely. As the turtles begin to hatch, the volunteers make sure the baby sea turtles make it safely into the water. This is a picture of some of the hatchlings making it safe to the water. It's important not to leave trash on the beach. This trash not only makes the environment dirty, it also makes it unsafe for animals that live there. Here is an example of how animals can be injured because of trash. A good rule to remember when you visit the beach is only leave your footprints. When you visit the beach, make sure you take all of your things with you when you go home. Don't leave anything behind. Don't litter. Take your umbrellas with you, your toys, your fishing gear, your food containers. It's very important to do this in order to keep the animals that live on the beach safe. Having less trash would be one way to keep our environment clean. We can do that by doing 3 things: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce means to use less. One way we can have less trash is to reduce the amount of materials we use. You can only buy and prepare food that you're actually going to need, therefore using less. You can make sure your electronics are turned off when you're not using them. You can try to use less toilet paper. You can turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth and just use it when it's time to rinse. It's important not to be wasteful. Another thing we use a lot of is plastic, like plastic bottles, plastic bags, plastic cups, and plates. Plastic is harmful to our environment. One way to use less plastic is by replacing some of the plastic items we use with items made from other materials. For example, we can use less plastic if we use paper items instead. Paper is safer for the environment than plastic. The best way to reduce the amount of trash we have is by using items more than once. Using products that are made to be used more than once instead of products that are made to be thrown away after a single use will help reduce the amount of trash we have in our environment. We use a lot of things made of plastic. One way we can help is by using more items made of other materials. Even better, we can use things that are made to be used over and over again. Of course, we all know that recycling is an important way to reduce the amount of trash in our environment. Recycling means changing items in a way that they can be reused. Here are some things that you can recycle. You can recycle paper, cardboard boxes, aluminum cans, plastic bottles. You can even recycle grease. Now you're ready to take the Bay Buddy Pledge. Repeat after me. Put litter in its place. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Always do the right thing. Teach others what you learn. Congratulations! your Bay Buddy.